Lactose intolerance. Well, first we have to know what is lactose. Well, lactose is a sugar made, um, a sugar found in milk and dairy products. And lactose intolerance is simply your small intestines not making enough enzymes called lactase to break down that lactose in milk and dairy products. As a kid, we're completely 100% dependent um, on milk because that's our diet, and of course, milk has lactose in it. So as a kid, as a infant or a baby or kid, our body produces a large amount of um, lactase to break down all the lactose that we drink and eat as a kid. Um, Most people that get that's lactose intolerance are older, but there are rare cases where kids do. Um, uh, there is rare cases where kids are diagnosed as lactose intolerant, but very rare. Most ethnicities that are common with lactose intolerance are Black Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Indian Americans. There's a very huge disclaimer about lactose intolerance. Most people compare lactose intolerance with milk allergies, and the big, there's a huge difference between it. Um, to start off, a milk allergy um, is a reaction uh, to protein in milk. Lactose intolerance is a deficiency of enzymes created by your body to break down lactose. So, uh, an allergy uh, is very life threatening if not treated in the right time frame. Lactose intolerance is pretty much just a discomfort. Um, so, the biggest difference is an allergy you can die from. Lactose intolerance, you're just gonna be uncomfortable. Um, the symptoms of lactose intolerance is diarrhea, bloating, gas, vomiting, nausea, and most common, abdominal cramps. Trust me, I know. There are several tests you can do to determine if you're lactose intolerant. Um, but I'll tell you about two of them. One is the hydrogen test, which is administered by a doctor. You go to their office, they give you a large amount of lactose. Then they give you this box with a tube in it, look like a breathalyzer. Um, you blow in this tube 30 minutes you blow in it every 30 minutes for 3 hours. Then after the 3 hours are done, they conclude how intolerant how uh, tolerant you are of lactose. Um, if they do determine that you are in lactose intolerance, they'll, the test will pretty much let you know. The most common test, because the hydrogen test, it takes 3 hours to do. So who wants to sit in a doctor's office for 3 hours? Nobody. So the most common test that everybody does is the milk test. Pretty much you're drinking 8 ounces of milk, and then you wait and see what kind of symptoms you have. Now, before you do take this test, you want to maybe 3 to 4 days before you take the test, you want to make sure you don't eat or drink any lactose whatsoever. So that way, when you take the test, when you have the symptoms, it's because of the lactose in the milk that you just drunk. Now, what foods do contain lactose? Well, the obvious is dairy products, cheese, ice cream, milk. But what you might not know is lactose is in birth control pills and certain medications, some like stomach and acid tablets, and also lactose is added to several foods like chips, bread, salad dressing, and certain candies and snacks. Um, Living with lactose, well, Most people that that are lactose intolerant, they eat fewer dairy products. They take enzyme pills to boost the enzymes, so they take lactase pills. Um, and a lot of people concerns with being lactose intolerant is that they're losing the calcium from dairy products that they would normally get, but you can easily replace this calcium with foods that contain calcium like spinach, broccoli, oranges, tuna, soy milk, rice milk, stuff like that. Um, so in conclusion, I would say lactose intolerancy is simply your body not making enough enzymes called lactase to break down the lactose in dairy products. Um, there are severe cases of lactose intolerance, and there's mild, cases. Like myself, I consider myself mild or beginning stage of it. But the difference between the mild and severe is um, the symptoms in severe happens very quickly and they last way longer. For mild and beginning stages of lactose intolerance, like myself, I still can eat large amounts of dairy products, um, but I won't get the severe symptoms. I won't get the abdominal cramps, you know, unless I eat large amounts of it. But the people that's a very severe cases of lactose intolerance, if they eat maybe 2 pints of ice cream, they're done. They're on the ground cramping and rolling on. For me, I can probably eat a pint of ice cream and go drink some milk and eat a bowl of cereal. Yeah, my stomach will probably bubbling. I'll probably have to go to the bathroom after that, but I won't have the cramps and the nausea and all that like someone that's very severe. Um, Lactose intolerance is very, very common in America. About 50 million Americans have lactose intolerance. So it's very common, which again brings me to my theory. I think eventually we all going to be lactose intolerant because, again, it's just your body uh, having a deficiency of making an enzyme called lactose. And that happens as we get older and as we uh, introduce different varieties of food to our diet. Again, I think we're eventually all going to be lactose intolerant. Um, uh, but that's just me. So if you want to learn more about lactose intolerant, you can visit the website WebMD, which will break down most the answers and concerns you have with it. Or you can go to Wikipedia and just look at the definition of it, and and that'll definitely answer all your questions. But definitely you should go to a doctor if you think you're lactose intolerant. You should go to a doctor and get a actual diagnosis. And again, it's not a disease. It's not life threatening. So and it's very common. So being lactose intolerant, wouldn't say it's a really big deal. Um, Uncomfortable, yeah, but knowledge about anything, not just lactose intolerant, knowledge about anything helps you deal with um, life in general. Period. So um, again, if you think you're lactose intolerant, go see a doctor or visit the websites, and you'll definitely be educated and have more knowledge on it.